Hello world, I'm Missy Girl and welcome back to another video with your girl Missy Girl. Yeah. So I'm sorry that I haven't been posting a lot. I've been really Mr. Truck. I've been finishing up school. I'm done officially on the 12th. It's my last final, so next week. So I've been like editing my assignments and doing my assignments and things like that. So hopefully everybody's doing well in this pandemic. Hopefully everybody just stays safe and follows the protocol of their state, and just pray for one another, you know, call one another, FaceTime one another, Zoom one another, whatever it is, text one another, you know, do drive-bys, you know, whatever it is that you need to do to see your family, your friends, your significant others, your loved ones, all of that good stuff. So without further ado, let's get started with this video. Make sure to thumbs up, well, like it up, share, comment below what you guys want to see me next. Wow. Comment below what you want to see me do next. So this video is about me being a poet, and I posted a poll on Instagram and I got a lot of yeses that I should make a video about me being a poet. So this video is a mixture of questions that people have asked me plus two poems that I wrote over the courses of a couple months, whatever. And if I look down, it's because I'm looking at my computer because I have bad memorization skills. So yeah, let me just charge my computer because right now it's saying that it's dying, which I don't know why I charged it. Voila. Okay, so first we're gonna start with the poem, answer the questions, and then end with the poem. So yeah, so this first poem I wrote, well, it's not my first poem that I wrote, but it's a poem that I wrote that I'm gonna share with you. That's first. Yeah. It was inspired by one of my friends. She asked me to write a poem about love, so I wrote this on April 17th, not too long ago, literally a few weeks ago. It's called I Love You. I love you. Why is it so hard to understand? I know I don't say it often, but it's true. I love you, and perhaps I'm in love with you. You might ask, how would I know? How about it's the butterflies I get when we speak? Or every little thing you do makes me smile. You make me mad, sad, but mostly happy. You make me feel free, like I'm this person that nobody ever made me feel. I love you. Everything about you. From your smile to our conversations. Love isn't just a word. Love isn't just a saying, but it's a feeling. And what a better way to feel that what I'm feeling with you. The person who knows me like a book. So believe me when I say that I know what love is because I met you. Believe me when I say that I love you. So that was a little poem, and a lot of my poems are inspired by my friends or my followers on Instagram. By the way, follow me up, Princess Naya XO. Yeah. And a lot of other poems are inspired just by like my personal experiences. So with further ado, let's get to the questions. Woo! The first question is, how do I want other people to relate to my poems? And by the way, I'm keeping this anonymous, so yeah. So how do I want other people to relate to my poems? I write poems based on my experiences, and most of my experiences are something that people have been going through. So I want people to relate to my poems just by, you know, feeling the words. Like when they read the words, they're like, oh, this poem's about love. Oh, I love my girlfriend, or I love my boyfriend, or, you know, I used to love my ex, or, you know, whatever the case may be. And it just builds that relationship between the poem itself and the person reading it. For example, if I'm writing about like something generic about dogs, oh, I have a dog, oh, my sister has a dog, or cats, oh, I have a cat, my sister has a cat. So I can relate to the things that you're writing about because it's universal. It's not something like that I only write poems about me being black, me being gay, and me being 22. Like, not everybody's black, not everybody's gay, not everybody's 22. You know what I mean? So I try to write poems that I relate to myself, and also I know that everybody else can relate to too. So hopefully that I answered your question. How did you first start poetry? Well, I first started when I was 16. I wanted to excuse me, I had a sweet 16, and I wanted to give my parents something back I knew I couldn't give them like money because I was 16. I wasn't really working at the time. So I wanted to give them something back that like I created myself. You know what I mean? And I'm not a good songwriter. I could dance, but like I didn't want to dance in my 216 dress. You know what I mean? So I'm like, let me write a poem. So I wrote 2 poems, about one about my mom, one about my dad, and I presented it to them at my 216. My godmother read it to them because I was emotional, whatever. And I had it in a frame, and I included pictures of my mom and my dad. Well, me and my mom separate, my dad and I separate. You know what I mean? If you want to see that, I'll post it on Instagram. If you want to see it, comment below. So that's how I first started writing poetry. But that was only like, I didn't know I was going to be good. You know what I mean? Like, that was just like something to give back to my parents and like, oh, this is really good. Blah, blah, blah. So then as the years progressed and I started thinking about my childhood trauma that I'm not going to explain because it's too explicit and all that stuff. I figured that this was like a coping mechanism for me. Like, writing is a coping mechanism for me. And I just started writing it. And here I am 4 years later. No. Well, yeah, it'll be 5 years later. No. 6 years. Whoa. Here I am, 6 going on 7. I'm 22. Y'all can do the math. It's quarantine. Here I am years later writing poetry about different things: anxiety, depression, my family, my loved ones. That's family, not really. My friends, things that I like to do, anything. Here I am, just writing poetry freely. Next question: what makes you want to write? Good question. Part of it is, like I said before, when I go through trauma and I may have like a flashback, or I may feel like depressed, or I may feel like alone, I just start writing. Another part of it is just, I just want to write poetry that connects with people, you know? So I may think of something like, this is a good poem title, and I just start writing. Or I'll say, this is a good poem theme, or poem like word, like group of words, and I'm like, I need to title it, you know? And I just start writing. So it depends. I'm either in a good mood and I want to write poetry, or I'm in like a depressed mood and I want to write poetry. So it could go either way with me. What makes you want to rhyme about topics? I don't not a lot of my poems rhyme per se. Some of them do, some of them don't. What makes me think about topics? Sometimes, like I said before, like I think of the words in the poem and I'm like, this is a good topic. Or I say, like, I'll just say like 3 simple words, like, I love you, for example. Like, oh, I can write about love, and I start writing. So it just depends on like my mood and like what comes to my brain typically. What does it make you want to inspire people? Yes, it does. Not necessarily inspire people to write, because not everybody has that talent or gift. I'm not being a bragger or a boaster, but it inspires me. Whoa, it makes me want to inspire people to, you know, if I'm writing a poem about depression or anxiety, it makes me want to inspire people to seek help, or, you know, feel like they're not alone, because they're not alone. You know, I'm dealing with the same thing that they're dealing with. Maybe not be the same situation, but I'm still dealing with anxiety and depression. So I want them to know that they're not alone. I want them to feel a sense of, it's okay to be different. It's okay to be who you are. I want them to feel a sense of, there's things out there for you to do besides self-harm. You know what I mean? Like, you can read poetry to make you feel better. You can write poetry to make you feel better. So I just want to inspire people to connect with my poems, to feel happy, to feel loved, to feel welcome, and just to get a sense of like newness, like just a sense of like freshness of new poetry and new stories behind what I'm writing, if that makes sense. Hopefully it does. What forms of poems do you write? I write all types of poems. I've written haikus, I've written free poems, I've written rhyme schemes. It just flows naturally. Like, I don't even think about like, oh, this is a haiku. I didn't even think I was gonna write a haiku. It just flows, you know what I mean? Like, once I start writing or typing, I type in my notes. You know, there's one poem that I specifically wrote. It's called I'm having a brain fart. But basically the idea of it is like, I'm sending a text message to my ex, or you're sending a text message to your ex, not just me, it could be anybody, and they're like dry texting you, and you're trying to say, I wrote a poem about you, do you want to hear it? And then it's like left unread. So it's basically like that person left you unread. And it's not really like a poem where it's like lines and things like that. Like, it's a poem and you write I wrote the 3 little dots, like they're typing, and I wrote their message, and I put like read at 12:07 a.m. or something like that. Like, it's things like that. Like, it just comes to me. Like, I don't sit down like, I'm gonna write a haiku today, or I'm gonna write a free poem today, or I'm gonna write a rhyming scheme. No, I just write, or like I said, type. I just type, and whatever from a poem I write that particular day, that's what it's gonna be. What do you mostly write about? I mostly write about my depression, because like I said, it's a coping mechanism. I write about my anxiety, again, coping mechanism. I write about love. I write about my family, my friends. I write about anything, basically. Like, I've had times where I ask people to give me topics on a poem, on something that they want me to write about, and I wrote a poem about it, and they loved it. Or they'll say, hey, can you write a poem about this? Like, my friend, for example, she said, can you write a poem about love? And I said, sure. Boom, I wrote it. Like, it just depends, again, on my mood, how I feel, and, you know, what's going on in my life. It all depends about just personal experiences, I guess you can say, my mood, my experiences during the day, or whatever. I typically like to write a poem at least once a week. And once I wrote one poem, I usually write 2 more or 1 more after that, and then I'm satisfied with myself, you know, like I'm content. Then the next week comes, I write 1 poem, and I write another 1 or 2 poems that day, or like the next day after that, and I'm like content with myself. So thank you all for your questions. I'm gonna wrap up this video with this last poem that I'm gonna read. It's very sentimental to me because it talks about my father. Whoa! It talks about my grandfather. And a lot of people can relate to this, of course, because they've lost loved ones. So yeah, this poem is called Goodbye to Pop, and this was written on September 17th. He didn't die on September 17th. He died February 8th. 11 years ago? No, it's February 7th, 11 years ago. There we go. Okay. Have you... Whoa, I typed that wrong. Whoa. I'm sorry, let me edit this before. Okay. Ever lost a loved one? Well, I did. I was just 10. But it was all so vivid. He had lung cancer. My, was he an amazing chef, making jokes at family events? But the cancer swallowed everything. His lungs, his thoughts, even worse, his flesh. As I wish I grabbed his hand one last time, when I think about it, I cry. A little girl broken, hurt, grieving, a relationship to get close. Sitting on the porch during the summer watching the AC lights. Now he's sitting on heaven's porch during all seasons watching my light. It's been 11 years and it's still hard to say goodbye to Pop. So, by the way, AC is in Atlantic City. I live in New Jersey, so that's where he lived, in Atlantic City with my grandmother. So, thank you for watching this video. Hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully I answered all your questions. I don't really like to post my poems on social media because it's personal. A lot of it's very, very, very personal, and not a lot of people know my story yet. And one day I would like to share my story, but not right now. But I do want to expose all my poems on a project that I'm working on. Hopefully it'll be released next year. I just have to finish up my poems that I want to put in this project, and I gotta get the copyright, all that. Okay, it's a book, okay? I'm trying to write a book. So newsflash, I'm writing a book. It's called Jazara, a book of poetry. Jazara means blessed princess in African, and it's gonna be 2 types of books. One explicit, because some of the poems have a little bit of curse words in it, not much, not like MF or whatever, but like just simple ones. And the other one is gonna be like the clean version, and it's for all people. It doesn't, you don't have to be a girl to own this book. Like, you know, it can be anybody. Because it's, again, it's poems that you can relate to. You know what I mean? Like, some poems are, you know, about me being a girl because I'm a girl. Some poems are about, you know, guys or whatever the case may be. You have to see. I don't have a date yet because I didn't even finish writing the book itself. So yeah, just a little surprise. And that's the reason why I don't post my poems on social media, because I feel like I'm gonna expose my whole book, and I want to do that. I want you guys to read it for yourselves, like physically read it and not like on an app or whatever. So thank you guys for watching. I love you guys. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay well, be true, be you, be blessed, and I love you guys. Bye.